Salve, salve, Maestro here, and today we are back with our Indian campaign, probably our last episode, and now we are basically at war with the British, our independence war, and this war is very straightforward. So we have the second biggest army in the world. We have an army almost 50% bigger than the British. So basically, we need to mobilize our armies and avoid them to naval invade. So at this war, we need to decide a war goal for us. Normally, we go for war reparation, but I actually think that forced nationalization is the best one because if you take a look at GDP ownership, most of the places, the Great British would take a huge chunk of our economy. Like, okay, in this case, the French actually holds more, but probably there will be a lot of the states that they own a very important share, like this one, 40%. This one is 14%. So these are margins of money that are going away from our country, and I actually want them to stay here mainly to increase our investment pool. And talking about economy, since we are no more in the British market, we need to fix our market. So we lack explosives, oil, ammunition, fish, like a ton of things and basic things. And I will go first for the fish because they are the most important in terms of SOL. And they are also the cheapest ones, so are the fastest one to build. So the United States sided with Great Britain. They are not a major threat. They only got the 12th biggest army in the world, but they got a ton of conscriptions. So we need to pay attention at this number. But still, since they need to naval invade us, they will get a ton of debuff, and I think it's possible. And I was just checking here if any new decision come out, and we can demand the return of the Koh-i-Noor, which seems to be like a diamond that the British extracted from India. Maybe it's the diamond that I tried to represent at my first thumbnail of the Indian campaign. So kind of nice to see this on the game. I will try to demand it, and let's see what happens. And they refuse, which makes sense. We are at war, so I can demand it over 10 years. And now that we are halfway into the diplomatic play, I will start to mobilize my army and put them everywhere they can naval invade us. I'm thinking that this diplomatic play it's a little bit strange because since it is a independence war, why is Britain only demanding that we transfer Baroda for them? Like this shouldn't be a make protectorate CB or something like it. Like it doesn't make any sense because I could just back down and then I would lose Baroda, which are useless. I won't do that, of course, but it seems kind of strange. Oh yeah, basically, as I said, we are in a huge advantage since they are naval invading, and their army is not that great if compared to us. Like we also get skirmish infantry and lancers. They only got this shrapnel artillery that we don't. Like I could, but I was lacking some ammunition, so I don't want to upgrade them now because I think we will suffer the consequence for not having the ammunition. And I just forgot that we could be going for some laws. So now that we faced a secession in our country, a lot of interest groups got it marginalized. So there are a ton of laws that we actually can make it. And I think the first one that I'll do is universal suffrage. Okay, so Great Britain is at default. They have wasted more than twice that we did in this war, and I think this will make their war support to tick down more quickly. So very nice for us. And it seems that for some reason Venezuela is supporting them, but okay, that's fine. Okay, so Venezuela is a puppet of the United States. Yeah, very realistic game. And for some reason, the evangelical church is crazy mad at us, and because of that, they are now contributing to the stall chance. So I will try to see if there is a Democrat from the Petit Bourgeoisie in order to increase our success chance, which I think it's very easy now because we are in late game. So this, okay, so exactly as I said, it's very easy to see a Democrat at the late game. I would love to see a button just like Newport where I can try to improve relations with all of my subjects because this is kind of boring as in beer. Okay, so we got a huge problem here. They are actually advancing at us. Like, why did we start it with such low man? I don't know, but this is a red alert for us. And the British troops are playing for some reason. Like, is Great Britain at war with another country? Uh, Kinda. They're having some rebellion over colony, but nothing too major. Like, why are they left in here? Okay, that I moved a battalion from this region in order to secure the Bengal. Of course, they were having a lot of deaths, but still, you were losing the war, right? And now, after this research, the hand-ranked machine gun, there will be no way for the British because we are going to increase our defense by 5 and our kill rate by 5%. So this war is over. And they give it up. They are no more invading the Bengal, and the British are already on the zero. So a sweet spot here, this will drop eventually to minus 100, and that's very nice for us. We just need to defend this naval invasion here that it didn't even nearly made us a worry. So this will be a very easy war. Okay, so I got some bad news because this war is basically over. We already won it. But I was kind of curious that my war support dropped to 60 while the British are still at 0. So then I remembered to check if the war support itself could drop below 0. Because depending on the war goal, even if you are crushing the enemy, you need to complete some requirements in order to the war support drop below 0. And then I faced it that the war support cannot be reduced below 0 because neither the capital state nor the following war goals are being occupied, which is nationalize all Indian buildings, which is very, very strange because I decided to nationalize their buildings in my own country. So I shouldn't need to invade their capital in order to enforce it. Like this should be the opposite. They would need to invade me and enforce their demands, like you need to accept our sovereignty over this property and whatever. But it's still okay if the game works like this, it's fine. But then I loaded the save and tried to add other war goals to see what happened, even the war reparation CB. And then what happened? And every time the same thing happened. So remember that I said that this war seemed to be a little bit buggy because they would just wanted me to transfer Baroda? Yeah, exactly. So then I thought, okay, so let me just do a white piece and we can all be fine. I don't need to nationalize their buildings right now. And the problem is I can't because this is a revolution diplomatic play, and in a revolution you need to enforce your demands over the other side. So they need to drop to minus 100 for us to end this war. Finally, I thought, okay, this is very strange. And then I started to search up for other creators and other videos that were Indian runs. And this war actually shouldn't have happened. Like the way that I did, I saw another video that the guy did the same. I think it was Leif. And basically he didn't went to war against the Great Britain. So I guess this is bugged. And I can also check that because I lost my GDP history here. It is only counting after 1883. This is the same for literacy. It's the same for SOL. Everything is only counting after 1883. So basically, I think we don't have any other choice. This is very bad to say, but I don't see any other way. I already launched the other video and I'm not willing to replay it again. So I think I'll need to switch to the British and capitulate since there is nothing more to do, at least from what I know. Because if I don't do that, this war would never end. Like I could capitulate, but it doesn't make any sense for me to give them Baroda since I'm clearly winning this war. So it's kind of sad, but it's the only thing left to do. Okay, so basically we can see here the peace treaty that was supposed to happen. Like this thing about annexing the Raj or the Raj annexing it was supposed to be the main CB, which didn't appear at all because I think that the game bugged. So basically, as I said, there were nothing to do. And if I could give any advice for anyone going to play in India, is go through the normal independence. Like it makes much more sense. Because being completely honest, before I play any country, I don't go elsewhere checking what's the best strategy or what's the meta or what will happen. Like I try to play between min-maxing and role playing, but I never go and check what I can do and what I can't do. And this was my first time playing as a subject, so I didn't knew exactly how worked the Liberty Desire thing. So my personal advice is that go for the normal independence as India, get a ton of supporting independence to increase your liberty desire, and you'll be very, very fine. Like you don't need to go through all of the in-game events. And now that we don't need to worry about the war with the British, I will go back to fix our economy. Like, we don't have any sulfur production here in India, just here and there, but very little bit. So we need to import this. And also annexing all of my subjects and creating a strong and single state. And as I said, while forming India, since we did it by the nation formation tab in the journal, we get access to this CB, the return state, which is very, very low infamy. We can just roll over all these subjects here and it will be very, very easy. And we got a universal suffrage. The only bad thing is that we need to wait for an election to come before having a government that is legitimate enough to us pass other legislations. And also something that I can do that I completely forgot is to form a power block. Like eventually probably we're gonna stop being the monarchy. So we need to use this moment in order to form our sovereign empire, which in my opinion is the best type of power block in the game. So we go for sovereign empire and probably vassalizations because this is gonna be a ton of authority for us. Now I didn't want it to do that because I rely on trade in order to import sulfur, but the petit bourgeoisie want, so I'll need to go for protectionism as our next law. And now I'm going for pretty standard legislation, just like public health insurance. Maybe next I will think about a power structure, removing local police force or whatever, like just a normal game of VK3. Now, basically, we conquered all of our return CB. I thought it would have more CBs, like these guys here doesn't make any sense to not be on the formation, but okay. And now we're gonna need to go by the brute force. So we'll need to annex our subject, which will be kind of annoying because every time you annex a subject, the liberty desire of the others will drop. And because of this, I will first decrease the autonomy of the Durrani Empire, and only then I will start to annex my subjects. Now, this is for sure one of the craziest run I ever had in Victoria 3, because look at what just happened. The homelands got their independence over Great Britain, and they are anarchist commune, while Great Britain is still Great Britain. But now they have a revolution of their own, which is the East Anglia Liberal Revolt. But for some reason, they got the North Korea flag with a communist symbol, but within the government, they got the landowners and the industrialists. Like, what's happening here? We can also see Prussia got the United Baltic province, Scandinavia formed, Italy formed, only Germany didn't form, of course, because Germany never forms. Brazil went expansionist over Bolivia, which they don't do often. The Guyanas are now united. Like, a lot of crazy things happening here. And that's because I'm not even checking all the political spectrums of all the countries in the world right now. Now, we just need to do a quick math to notice that it is basically impossible for me to integrate all of my subjects in a stable way since I do not have any other return CB and I also don't have that interaction with my princely states, which I could annex them by 10 infamy. So basically what I'll do, I'll just say like, fuck it, and I will annex everybody that I can. Like seriously, there is no way for me to do it because when I annex subject, all the other subject gets this. Our overlord has annexed another subject and it stands for 4 years. So if I wait for it, I will go all the way up to 1936 and I won't have annexed all my subjects. So fuck it and I'm gonna control them by force. At least you can use my video to know what to not do because after I saw that I could actually return state from Guajara, I started checking here the diplomatic demands why I couldn't attack the other guys. And then I hover the mouse over a random state and he says India does not have a claim on Akamolinsky. But if I do that over an Indian state, it actually doesn't say anything. So probably the game was telling me that I couldn't return states from my subjects because they had relations with me bigger than cordial. So pay attention to that and decrease your subject opinion of you before you start annexing them with this CB here. And just to defend myself, I've never played as anything like India. Like it's my first time playing as a subject, so there are some mechanics that I'm just not used to it, but step by step we start learning it. And exactly as I said, now we have the option to return state over basically everybody's. So you actually can incorporate all of your subjects without any consequences. Now let's try again to demand the return of the Koinoa, which we wait. Yeah, we got it back. Okay. And nothing happened. Like I do not gain any bonus, neither the Great Britain. Kind of disappointing. And although it is better to use the return state CB over the annex subject, you can very easily do this. Like all of my subjects have 100 liberty desire, but none of them can declare independence over me because I'm basically the biggest army in the world. And time to time, I'm actually recruiting some soldiers in order to keep it like it is. For my next mandate, I think I will go for creative legislator, at least just for a quick time, because I want to move away from monarchy. And this install chance is very high due to this political movement. And before it was 33%, kind of so. And now reducing that by a third. Of course, we decrease it by 10%, and now it's below the success chance. So I will move on to probably presidential republic because I want to keep a little bit of this authority still. And just a quick update here, I just checked that we can build the Victoria terminals right now. And this actually remembers me that there were a journal entry while we were a colony over the British that we needed to build some railways over some areas here. Like, I don't know why it failed. I would like to complete it, but okay, it probably wouldn't give me anything either, so that's fine. And as one of our final wars, I will try to return Ceylon to us. Like, I know that Ceylon is Sri Lanka and it isn't part of the Indian state, but I think it will make it prettier, so why not? I tried to invade Ceylon because Great Britain was at war with France, but it seems that they made a white peace, so probably the whole British army will get to here. So I'm starting to mobilize more and more armies, but I still think this is winnable. We can clearly see that I have 93 of advantage, and they are only coming with more 60 men. But there are a ton of other battalions that are going to this direction, so we need to quickly invade Ceylon. And luckily, we got a ton of generals, so there will be a ton of battles at the same time. Okay, so part of them are shifting their attentions away because it seems like a native rebellion is more important and creates more threat than a whole Indian army, but I think it's fine. And the war with the mighty British was actually very easy. We just needed to invade Ceylon. We got a ton of generals, so we made a quick battles before the British army managed to get here. And they were simply trying to land here on this Indian Malaya because it's their CB. Of course, I could give it to them and we would end this war much quicker because I literally don't care about this region. But if we can keep it, let's keep it, right? So let's return Ceylon to ourselves. I could also go for the Maldives, but I'm not willing to do that. Like, I literally don't care about them. They can stay right there. And right now, let's just end this revolution here on Persia so we can demobilize most of our army because it's taking a huge space into our finance. Now, the election just happened, and I check it here. I can very easily go for Council Republic and then move to cooperative ownership because I would like to nationalize all the buildings that Great Britain, United States, Russia, France, all of them own. And I can't do that under laissez-faire. But let's face it, everything is fine, so I won't go for that socialist path as I did in my last two campaigns. And I know that my construction sector is insufficient for my investment pool, and I could have like 2,000, 3,000 construction each week. But again, why would I do that? I'm the biggest power in the world. Like, just check my GDP. Look at this line going up. Like, it is very sad that when we switch it up to the revolutionary India, we lost the information track from the other years because I'm very curious to see what this line would look like. but actually I can fairly know more or less how it would appear because I remember when we got our independence, this GDP per capita was at the position 160 or something, and we are already on 41, even with our population growing 2.4 million a year. Now we are just doing a little bit of backstabbing over the French because I wanted to take this treaty part, which is of course very easily, and now we just need to wait them. So the French indeed have a bigger army than Great Britain, but still I don't think that they can handle exactly because their naval isn't at the same level as their army. So the landing penalty that they are suffering is very huge for them to be actually able to try and naval invade me. And I was just checking here. I think that probably my navy can take them up. I guess they got a better navy of torpedo boats. I don't have them. Oh, actually, I have them. So probably I can take their navy and they just can't naval invade. And now we finally can annex our last subject. And when I mean last subject, I mean the ones that were in the Indian region. So I'm not taking into consideration over Burma, Shan, the Durrani Empire, or Persia. So the last one that we need to get is Kashmir. And all the other stuff we took back to ourselves, even Ceylon. And as I said, I didn't take Maldives because, like, it's useless. So why would I do that? And now that Kashmir is fully annexed, we can safely say that we achieved the goal for this run. And we can say that it was a successful run. Like, we had some troubles. I didn't know how to play as a subject, then the game bugged. And I can safely say that it bugged because when you form India, you are supposed to get a journal entry where you form the countries of Pakistan and Bangladesh. And I just didn't get it. Like, it's not even potential. I wouldn't go for it anyways, but still, it's just another proof that the game bugged. But still, we managed to do what we intended to do. We united India, we expanded over this, let's say, rightful Indian claims. We get ourselves independence from the Great Britain, and we are basically the top one global power. With that being said, I hope you liked the episode. Comment, like, subscribe. And as always, if you want to see the stats of the game, you can keep on the video. If not, I see you on the next time. And now, let's go for the stats.